Good day. Welcome to this virtual presentation of the Business Studies Specialization, which is a specialization within the Faculty of Science and the Leiden University Medical Center of Leiden University. My name is Simcha Jong. I'm the Professor and Director of Science-Based Business at Leiden University. What I will do during this talk today is I will talk about what is the Leiden Business Studies Specialization. For what kind of students is this an interesting specialization? I will talk about the program structure of the specialization, the teaching approach and philosophy we use, and finally I will talk about some of the student experiences and how this specialization might be helpful in developing your career further. First of all, what is the Leiden Business Studies Specialization? The Business Studies Specialization is not a program that stands on itself. It is an elective program for MSc students of the Leiden Faculty of Science and the Leiden University Medical Center. The focus is on teaching of management, business and entrepreneurship with an emphasis on technology-intensive businesses in areas such as the life sciences, artificial intelligence and high-end instrumentation. The business studies is for students from these MSc programs. So students from the astronomy, physics, mathematics, biomedical sciences, chemistry, biopharmaceutical sciences, biology, and life science and technology programs are able to, during the second year of their master, follow this business studies specialization. So why do this specialization? First of all, many of the students who enroll in science master programs of the Leiden Faculty of Science, they will not end up in a working for a university after they graduate. And what we've experienced is the students in these programs, they need a broader set of competences than required in their own discipline to succeed if, for example, they end up working for a company or policy bodies or the government. Basically, what this specialization will provide students, it's a managerial and entrepreneurial toolbox where they become familiar with the basic building blocks of that they will need once they take on managerial responsibilities in their career. So a little bit more about the context of the specialization and what you do in your science program within the Leiden Faculty of Science and the medical school will be valuable later on in your career. Well, first of all, in your science program, you will learn a lot of valuable scientific knowledge in areas in the subject area of your master program. Another thing you will learn is very valuable skills that are valued beyond the academic discipline in which you will be trained. You will develop analytical skills, scientific problem-solving skills. You will learn how to study and learn fast, to persevere, and to channel your creativity in a scientifically rigorous way. So by doing this specialization, you will be able later on in your career to use this scientific knowledge and these skills in various ways. The business studies specialization will help you in settings where you will A, apply the scientific knowledge you will learn, and B, provides you with the expertise to use some of these other academic scientific skills you learn in your programs. So that's the emphasis of the business studies specialization. So yeah, as I mentioned, what a lot of students, they will end up in working for companies or in jobs where they're actually bringing into practice, developing innovations based on the scientific knowledge they acquired during their master program at Leiden University. So these are, for example, students working on improved diagnostics, the development of new drugs, vaccines, durable materials, safer chemicals, innovations in the area of artificial intelligence, sustainable development, renewable energy, for example, efficient solar cells. So what you will learn by doing this specialization, you will acquire the skill set that you will need to think about not only about the science, the technology underlying these these types of innovations, but also thinking about how am I able to bring this science into practice. And then a growing number of companies, they're actually looking that are not traditionally in industries that are directly tied to scientific research in areas such as consultancy, policy, management, finance, marketing, ICT, and business development. Companies that are looking for employees, managers with scientific skill sets that are valuable. And yes, also this business studies specialization will prepare you for a career in these types of careers. And just to illustrate this, we see, and a lot of this has to do with the sort of the rise of big data, artificial intelligence, where these the decision-making problems, the challenges firms are facing in industries such as finance, consultancy, are increasingly tied to making sense of large data sets and very complex systems. And it's for these types of challenges and problems that your scientific training is particularly valuable. So what we see, banks, for example, in finance, in consulting, and also IT data services companies, IT companies, web-based e-commerce companies like Airbnb, Uber, Deliveroo. They're increasingly looking to scientists, students graduating from degrees in the natural sciences to recruit, to deal with these types of very complex decision-making problems. So, and that's very much reflected in the sort of the careers that students who graduate from our program end up in. So if you look at our, so what kind of jobs our students end up in, a lot of students, they end up in pharmaceuticals, clinical trials management, but also a lot of our students, they end up working for consultancy companies, in general operations management for companies such as Bol.com, marketing and sales, project management, and other types of careers. So a little bit more about the business studies specialization and our sort of how we organize this program. There are 2 intakes for this program in September and February. And what we really prepare students for is a career outside the university setting. And our objective is to provide students what we call the managerial toolbox, which consists of the sort of a basic proficiency in the basic fields that make up that you will need in a managerial a position in a company or an organization where you have managerial responsibilities. And I will talk a little bit more about that later on. So this specialization, the idea is to give you an edge for entry-level positions in industry. And for many students, this specialization, and in particular the internship you will do, provides a gateway to a first job after graduating. Let's move on to the structure of the specialization and how the one-year program is structured. There are 3 elements of the specialization. First of all, there are the core courses, in which you will learn about the managerial toolbox. Second, you will do an internship, either a 20, 30, or 40 EC internship. And then you're able to select elective courses in areas that you would like to develop new skills or want to learn more about. So let's first talk about the core courses that are mandatory for all students. Again, these are designed, the core courses are designed to provide you an introduction to the managerial toolbox so that you're proficient in all the key domains that you will need for for positions later on in your career where you take on managerial responsibilities. So first of all, you'll do a strategy course where you learn to analyze competitive environments of markets in industries. For example, you learn how to do market analysis, market assessments, do research on the feasibility of certain business ideas. And undoubtedly, at some point in your career, you will be asked, and this will help you prepare for those points in your career where undoubtedly you will be asked to do a market feasibility study for some idea that you would like to bring into practice. Second, you'll do a course in marketing where it's really about understanding needs and behavior of consumers, and where you learn about how organizations they may optimize how they interact and engage with their users and customers. Third, you'll do a finance course where you learn basic frameworks and tools to evaluate investment, financial, and asset management decisions. And again, this will help you support financial decision-making processes in organizations. Again, undoubtedly at some point in your career, you will be asked to make a financial case, for example, for a project you wish to do or a business you would like to develop. Then third, you'll have a course in technology and operations management where you really become familiar with key planning concepts, where the focus is really about the firm as on the operations of a firm, sort of the operational aspects of running a firm, sort of the day-to-day life and practice of running an organization. So what you learn in this course, it's tools and frameworks that will later on in your career help you in project planning, monitoring, control, evaluation of projects, and managing risks and conducting risk analysis activities. And then finally, we have a business research methods course. So if you do the business studies specialization, you will come from your main study is a program in the natural sciences or at the medical school of Leiden University. And doing research in a lab setting or doing research in astronomy or physics, that's a very different type of research from doing sort of social science type of research and the social science type of data you will need also to make business decisions. So what this business research methods will do is to focus on helping you become familiar with the key tenets of business research. And this will help you later on in your career to design and carry out research that informs managerial decision-making in a rigorous way. And throughout these different courses, we have colloquia, where we skill seminars where we help students develop skills that will be more soft skills that they will need later on in their career. And I will talk a little bit more about that. We have a heavy emphasis in our program on engagement with practice. So we have a lot of guest speakers from industry and technology intensive sectors of our economy. So that's the first part of the business studies specialization. Second of all, there is the internship. The idea is here to acquire new skills in a practical business environment, to become a subject matter expertise in a particular business domain. For example, if you do an internship on product the management of clinical trials in the pharmaceutical industry, you should become a subject matter expert in that area. It's about the internship. It's also about bringing into practice some of the theoretical frameworks and tools you have learned during your courses. And also the idea of the internship is to prepare you for later career choices. So many students, they will end up working for their internship organization. For some, it's also useful to get a better sense. Some students, they are uncertain whether they want a career in an academic career or whether they want to go into industry. And these internships are a useful experience to help inform students about what they would like to do in their career. Also, you might find out that a career for working for a company or a government organization, it's not really something for you. And that's also a useful, valuable outcome of the internship. And this internship is really one of the key points that our students really appreciate. So a couple of years ago, we did a evaluation of this program, and almost 90% of the students who graduated from our programs agreed or strongly agreed with the statement that this internship was really valuable in advancing their careers after they graduated. So students, they can do internships in all kinds of companies. And just to give you a better sense of the types of projects you could be doing during your internship, I will give you some examples of students who did internships. So we have quite a lot of students who, so it's possible. So some students, they do, depending on how the corona situation develops, but quite a lot of our students, they decide to do internships abroad. For example, we had Jorn Mos, who did a internship for the pharmaceutical company Novartis in Basel, Switzerland, where he worked on portfolio management decisions of biopharma companies. We have quite a lot of students who've worked for bol.com. For example, we had Chantal, who did business analysis projects. Bladine Le Talec, she worked on a marketing project looking at new products that were being developed by DSM in the Netherlands, and she ended up working there after graduating. Another example, Nadia Grunia, she worked on a business analysis project at the consultancy firm Accenture, and she also ended up working for that company. And then we have a lot of students who do internships, such as Akis, who worked for Dr. Reddy's. So a lot of students who do internships with companies on the Leiden Bioscience Park. We are based in Leiden, and most of our courses are taught on the bioscience park on the campus, which is also on the bioscience park. And there are a lot of small to medium-sized companies, such as Dr. Reddy's. We also bigger companies such as Janssen and Astellas. And a lot of students, they end up doing internships in the sort of the bioscience park, working for tech companies there. So if you're interested in more details about these internships, we have project descriptions of a lot of our internships on our Science-Based Business website. And then finally, we have a wide range of elective courses you may choose to further develop your expand your managerial toolbox or develop skills that you're interested in focusing on. Here are some examples. So we have a course in decision and risk analysis, leading and managing people, accounting, business intelligence, managing the digital business, digital transformations, managing innovation, marketing analytics, and entrepreneurship. where you learn about how to set up a technology-intensive company. Again, more information on all of these courses you will find on the e-guide of Leiden University on the university website. And then where do our alumni end up working? So we have, we have students from all these science and science programs from the Leiden University Medical Center. And so students, they end up in all kinds of careers. So we have students ending up working for example, instrumentation makers such as Thermo Fisher Scientific. We have students who, lately a lot of students from the mathematics and the physics, astronomy side, they end up actually working on data analytics, ending up in data analytics positions at web companies, or in this case, in the case of Carlo Borghi, ending up working on business intelligence for Boots, which is a large drugstore company. We have quite a lot of our students, they end up in consultancy companies such as Accenture, BCG, Bain & Company. Here we have an example of Anna Lee, who ended up working for L'Oreal. Also, we had a student who is now working on the regulation of financial markets at the Ministry of Finance. And we have a large number of students who end up in the chemical industry for companies such as AkzoNobel and DSM. We also have we're also very proud of students who end up founding their own companies, for example, based on their master research project in their science, in their own science field. And quite a few of the companies on the Leiden Bioscience Park are actually founded by alumni from our program. And then we have, and these are some examples of students who started up their own companies and won various business plan competitions in the Netherlands. And all of these are examples of students who actually founded tech companies on the Leiden Bioscience Park. So Polarkis, it's a very interesting company founded by some of our alumni working in the area of remote sensoring. We had Niall Hodgins, he's a former biology and business studies student who founded a company, Serranovo, that is based on the Bioscience Park in Leiden, which is quite successful. And we had two of our students being part of the team that founded the Leiden company Levels Diagnostics, which is developing rapid diagnostics for infectious diseases, which obviously it's a very important area to be in right now with the whole corona situation, where the issue of diagnostics is a major challenge. So then I would like to talk a little bit about our teaching approach. So following the lead of some of the leading business schools around the world, we very much rely in our teaching on the use of case studies. So most of our teaching is case-based, where you learn to understand frameworks in the area of management by looking by developing these frameworks in the context of real life business problems that managers are facing. So we have both internal and external teachers. So we have quite a young, exciting group of scholars working in the management field who have joined us over recent years. So we have Shishu Lee, who will be teaching, who teaches our students technology and operations management, who is a former student at UT Dallas, Rotterdam School of Management, and she teaches decision and risk analysis and technology and operations management. We also have Dr. Jan Wang, who is in charge of the Specializations internship program. He teaches, he was formerly a postdoc at Harvard University and KU, Catholic University of Leuven. And he also teaches the business research methods course. Then there's me. I joined Leiden in 2016 after having held faculty positions at UCL in London and Harvard in the US. And I teach the strategy course and the innovation management course. And then finally, we have Mohammed Taghi, who is formerly from the Rotterdam School of Management, and he worked for Ericsson. And he teaches courses in the area of digital transformations. And then we also rely a lot on external teachers. So we're a small program, but we have quite a lot of international connections. So over the past years, we had professors lecturing our students from the Rotterdam School of Management and MIT Sloan School of Management, coming to Leiden to give research seminars and guest lectures for our students. So, as I mentioned, there's a strong engagement with industry practice in our programs, and as an integral part of the program, we have quite a lot of CEOs and managers of companies, a lot of them from the nearby Bioscience Park, coming to talk to our students about some of the managerial challenges they are facing in their everyday lives. So over the past years, we had the former CEO of Hal Allergy, a big company here in Leiden, Mimetas. It's sort of Jos Jore, the CEO of Mimetas, which is a very successful sort of organ-on-a-chip company. We had Professor Marco Beiersbergen, who is a professor at the physics department, and he has his own company called Cosine, which is working in the remote sensoring domain. Then we had Nettie Buitelaar, the former director of the Leiden Bioscience Park and currently chief business officer of her own biotech company, Biosana Pharma. And we had Giel Hendricks, the CEO and founder of another biotech company on the Leiden Bioscience Park. So yeah, strong engagement with industry practice. And also we have, throughout the years, various activities where there are opportunities for students to interact with the vibrant entrepreneurial tech community in and around Leiden. So there are, for example, some of our former students, they started up these monthly seminars, Science Meets Business, or events, Science Meets Business, where there are managers and from the Bioscience Park and local tech companies coming together with students to talk about some of the interesting technological developments going on. There are various student associations in the area of tech entrepreneurship, such as Gilliver, which is also organizing a yearly business plan competition. And then a couple of and then here we have so also our students, they organize their own activities with support from the Science-Based Business Organization. And a couple of years ago, so they also visited Boston, where they organize various activities, among which study trips. And they went to Boston to visit big universities there that are investing a lot in tech entrepreneurship, innovation management, and visiting also companies in the Boston area. So what do our students say? So we did a couple of years ago, we did a survey among former students who graduated, and so 88.3% of our alumni agreed or strongly agreed that the internship proved valuable in advancing their careers, and 70.5% said the same about the coursework component of the program. In fact, and most of our students, they have very little. This is a very useful program in terms of finding, helping you find jobs you're excited about. As I mentioned, a lot of our students, they end up working for the internships or organizations they work for. And the last time we did such a research, we found that 100% of respondents to our survey of the students who wanted a job in industry found a job in industry after graduating, the majority within 3 months of graduation. So finally, there's more information. There's no information stand. We will have a virtual information stand on the Master Day. There will be a talk show where we also have students and who will be happy to answer questions you may have about the program. There's extensive information about the specialization program in the e-prospectus of the university. And you may always contact us for more information on the email shown below. Thank you very much.